Welcome to Rock Club's record album review of Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. My name is Kevin Z, and I am a lifelong musician and music fan. I'd like to think I've gained some musical wisdom over my 50 years of listening to, performing, and studying music from among my many favorite artists. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my Rock Club channel, as I intend to review another monumental album each week. I grew up with classic rock bands like Led Zeppelin, Boston, and Kiss. I watched as new wave bands like Duran Duran hit big on MTV and television shows like Friday Night Videos. I witnessed the evolution of 80s alternative rock and hair metal and the rise of grunge. I'll give you my perspective on epic rock albums spanning across these years. I hope I can pass some of this knowledge along to my daughters, Sky and Ava, whose playlists include tunes from my album collection and my first generation iPod right here with the rotary dial in front. And another inspiration has been Maya and Patty, young gals who heard my playlist songs at work, many for the first time, and commented how today's music had changed so much and how Gen Z can benefit from my knowledge of these great artists and bands. I'm reviewing artists' albums in their format order as they were originally intended to be listened to. Keep in mind, these are my opinions, so feel free to comment, agree, or disagree. So let's begin. The time was right for Aerosmith. They had charted a few hits, most notably Dream On off their first album, and had toured the US extensively for their first two albums. They were already earning a reputation as hard-partying Boston blues-based rockers, and singer Steven Tyler and lead guitarist Joe Perry were becoming known as the Toxic Twins for their voracious cocaine consumption. "Call us crazy, will they?" remarked Tyler. "Well, then we'll give them an album called Toys in the Attic." Recorded at the record plant in New York and mostly written in the studio, the album Toys in the Attic features 9 superbly produced songs. Steven Tyler on lead vocals, keys, harmonica, and percussion would receive writing credits for all songs except one cover song, and band members Joe Perry on lead, rhythm, acoustic, and slide guitars, backing vocals, and even percussion, Tom Hamilton on bass, Joey Kramer drums and percussion, and Brad Whitford on rhythm and lead guitars would create their breakthrough masterpiece, which was released on April 8th, 1975. Track 1, Toys in the Attic, a barn burner right out of the gate. The opening title track is a virtual riff fest and a treat to the ears. The band is humming at full speed. Fantastic bass playing by the greatly underrated bass player Tom Hamilton. Track 2, side 1, Uncle Salty, is a swinging song of Steven Tyler singing a bit of a sad story of the seedy underbelly of society and the characters that inhabit those smoke and coke-filled places. Very cool outro with tons of vocal overdubs and various harmonies by Steven Tyler. Track 3, side 1, Adam's Apple, is Steven giving his take on the biblical story of Adam and Eve. "She ate it, Lord, it was love at first bite." Great harmonized guitar solo in the middle by Joe Perry and Brad Whitford. Track 4, side 1, is the famous Walk This Way, which was the second single released off the album. Absolutely iconic drum intro by Joey Kramer. Joe Perry came up with the famous guitar riff, and Tyler came up with a song title after they had all gone out for a break to see the movie Young Frankenstein and laughed at a scene in which the actor playing Igor goes limping out, telling Gene Wilder's character Dr. Frankenstein to walk this way. Tyler would then write out song lyrics on the walls of the studio back stairway and have to later transpose them to a notebook. Wonder what else he was doing in the back stairway of the recording studio. But I digress. Tyler and Perry would have a rap crossover hit, uniting with Run DMC, releasing a newer version of the song Walk This Way in 1986. Track 5, the last tune on side 1, big 10-inch record. It is the only cover song on the album, originally recorded by Bull Moose Jackson, an R&B hit from back in 1952. The band copied the original song's jazzy style, and Brad Whitford was quoted, "We heard the original and played it for laughs, and our producer said, let's do it like they did it with the horns and everything." So there you go. It's about a 10-inch record. Track 1, side 2, Sweet Emotion. Can you sing it? Sweet emotion. This mega hit, which was the first single released off the album. Two great stories from the recording of this song. In the beginning, we hear an instrument called a vibraslap, which sounds similar to a rattlesnake's tail. When Steven Tyler went to hit it for the last time, the vibraslap actually broke, and you can hear this clearly in the intro. Also in the studio, they wanted to add the sound of maracas but didn't have any available, so they juiced up the power of Steven's vocal mic, and he shook sugar packets in front of him to get this sultry maraca sound. In my honest opinion, this is Aerosmith's best tune of all time. So track 2, side 2, No More, No More, is a great rocker. It's a rather complex tune that has a great rocking feel. They include not only a pre-chorus section, but a bridge section as well. And the outro solo by Joe Perry is a flippin' jam fest. Track 3, side 2, Round and Round, has a fantastic thundering drum intro. It's heavy as thunder, and Steven Tyler has a very cool phaser effect on his vocal track. I've read they used a 16-track recorder for this album, but it sounds like they used half of those tracks for Tyler's vocal overdubbing on this song alone. Very dense and intense. Joe Perry's guitar solo was turned up to 11 on the mix. Joey Kramer also hits the bell of his ride cymbal. It sounds like he's swinging a sledgehammer in the fantastic outro. The last track on the album, You See Me Crying, is a ballad featuring Steven Tyler on piano, sung only as he can. Honestly, to me, the song has a kind of Elton John vibe to it. The band spares no expense, bringing in a string symphony midway through. And of course, Joe Perry's guitar solo is a bend fest and displays his great feel. A very dramatic end to a great album. Not only was Toys in the Attic Aerosmith's major breakthrough record, but it has also been their most successful album, selling a whopping 9 million copies worldwide to date. It is a must-have for any serious fan of one of America's most famous rock bands. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to more Rokk Club record album reviews in the near future. Peace.